Peace talks or traps? The sky over Earth was quiet. Too quiet. For weeks, the Galactic Council had been sending peaceful messages. They called it a galactic unity proposal. But something about it didn't feel right. The leaders of Earth gathered in the main defense tower deep under the Arctic ice. President Arya Kane stood at the center of the war room, staring at the large screen showing the Council's message. The alien ambassador's voice echoed across the room, calm and polite. We offer peace, stability, and protection in exchange for your cooperation. But General Mason didn't smile. He leaned toward Arya and whispered, "That's not a peace offer, that's a leash." Arya nodded slowly. "I feel it too," she said. "They're dressing chains in silk." From the shadows, Ava Tran, Earth's top diplomat, stepped forward. "We need to answer," she said, "but not with words alone." The Council's envoy ship was already entering Earth's orbit, a massive golden vessel shaped like a crescent moon, glowing with artificial gravity fields. People from every continent looked up at the sky, watching the alien ship hover over Earth's capital. Some cheered, thinking peace had come. Others stayed silent, watching with suspicion. On the surface, Earth smiled, but underground, its defense grid started humming. At the Pacific Command bunker, an old computer suddenly turned on. Its screen flashed red, displaying a hidden protocol last used 50 years ago, Operation Silence. Colonel Amani stared at the code in shock. "Who activated this?" she asked. No one answered because no one had touched the system. Back at the Arctic Tower, Arya faced the screen again. This time she spoke to the Council directly. "We welcome your ship," she said, "but peace must come without pressure." The Council's reply came quickly. A different alien appeared now, taller, colder, wearing arms, or that shimmered with invisible tech. He spoke in a tone that made the room freeze. "Then accept the terms as they are, or face isolation." Mason slammed his fist on the table. "They're not offering peace," he growled. "They're delivering ultimatums." Ava turned toward the president. "Let me talk to them face to face," she said. "Let me see their eyes." "Approved," Arya said. "But take security." As Ava boarded a shuttle with 2 guards, satellites above Earth started to shift. They weren't tracking weather anymore. They were watching the Council's ship, analyzing every detail, measuring energy signals, scanning shield patterns. One satellite zoomed in too far and burned out. A hidden plasma signature had fried its systems in an instant. That wasn't standard tech. That was stealth warfare grade. Inside the alien ship, Ava entered a grand hall made of glass and silver. The Council ambassador greeted her with a thin smile. "You are brave to come alone," he said. "I came with respect," she replied. "Now let's talk about peace." The ambassador showed her a glowing tablet with long lines of agreements. Each clause demanded something from Earth, its fleets, its AI programs, even control over Mars colonies. Ava didn't blink. "This is not a peace treaty," she said. "This is submission." The ambassador leaned closer, his voice colder now. "You are new to the galaxy. You do not yet understand how it works." Ava smiled politely. "And you haven't learned how Earth works either." Back on Earth, General Mason opened a sealed file. Inside it was a short message written decades ago by Earth's first space admiral. "If peace comes with pressure, prepare the silence." Earth had prepared for this moment for years, not because it wanted war, but because it refused to be ruled. In a remote mountain bunker, engineers activated dormant drones hidden across the solar system, not to strike, but to vanish. They were disappearing from the grid, going dark, hiding their signals, becoming invisible ghosts. The Council's scanners picked up the changes and sent alerts. The ambassador looked at Ava. "Why are your systems shifting?" he asked sharply. Ava just stood, calm, confident, and said, "Maybe you pushed too far." The alien narrowed his eyes, but Ava didn't flinch. Back at the Arctic Tower, Arya turned to her staff. "No retaliation yet," she said. "Let them think we're still considering." But Mason was already preparing plans B through F, just in case. Outside, the people of Earth were told everything was under control. But inside every government room, the feeling was clear. This wasn't peace. This was a trap dressed in gold, and Earth had just begun to open its eyes, the terms that broke us. The document arrived in silence. A glowing cube floated into Earth's secure chamber, placed gently on the black table like a gift, but no one dared to touch it. It pulsed slowly, like it was breathing. President Arya Kane stood in front of it with her arms crossed, her face unreadable. General Mason broke the silence. "Open it." Ava Tran reached out and tapped the top of the cube. It unfolded like petals, projecting blue light across the room, revealing the Council's full peace terms. The room went quiet again, but this time it wasn't caution, it was disbelief. Clause 1. Earth must dismantle all space fleets larger than 100 ships. Clause 2. Human weapons that could reach outside the solar system must be deactivated. Clause 3. The Council would install peace advisors on Earth, Mars, and Luna. Clause 4. Earth must submit its AI development plans for review. Clause 5. Children born with enhanced cognitive traits must be registered with the Council for educational alignment. No one spoke. Mason leaned back, staring at the screen like it had just insulted his ancestors. "That's not peace," he muttered. "That's slavery." Arya's voice was ice cold. "They want to clip our wings." Ava looked at the final clause, her hand shaking slightly. Clause 7. If Earth disagrees, the Council will consider it non-cooperative and open to containment. Mason stood up fast, knocking over his chair. "They're giving us a choice between chains and war." The air in the room felt heavy, like a storm waiting to break. Ava took a deep breath and said, "Let me deliver the reply." "Are you sure?" Arya asked. "Yes," Ava nodded, but not in silence this time. She arrived at the Council ship the next day. No guards, no ceremony, no welcome, just a long glass hallway that hummed beneath her feet. At the end of the corridor stood the alien ambassador, tall and quiet, flanked by two warriors in armored robes. He didn't smile. He didn't even blink. "We are pleased you reviewed the terms," he said. Ava walked slowly toward him, stopping just inches away. She looked into his eyes and said, "Earth declines." The room tensed. "You would refuse peace?" the ambassador said slowly. "No," Ava replied. "We refuse your version of it." The alien didn't move, but his voice dropped lower, sharper. "You don't have the strength to refuse." Ava's tone didn't change. "Then you haven't been paying attention." Back on Earth, President Arya stood before the United Nations Core Assembly. Every nation was present, virtual or in person. She raised her voice so the world could hear. "The Council has presented its terms," she said, "and Earth has delivered its answer. Peace is not peace when it comes with threats," she continued. "We are not rebels," she said. "We are not enemies. We are simply free." The crowd fell into stunned silence, but it was broken by a slow, rising applause from across continents. For the first time in human history, Earth stood together. The Council didn't expect that. They thought humanity would argue with itself. Instead, humanity unified in rejection. In response, the Council summoned its inner war circle. 12 alien leaders met in a hidden system, faces lit by holographic flames. "What now?" one of them asked. "They must bend," another said. "They must see we are the light." But one alien, older than the rest, whispered, "No, we just made them remember who they really are." Across the stars, Council ships began moving, not toward Earth, but around it, forming a wall, a soft blockade, a message written in steel and engines. They didn't fire, they didn't speak, but their presence was loud. In Earth's orbit, satellites picked up movement, strange movement, not military, not diplomatic. Cargo ships full of unknown devices heading to the moon's far side. General Mason didn't wait. He sent probes cloaked in stealth. What they found wasn't a peace camp. It was an energy net. The Council was preparing to trap Earth inside its own star system. Ava returned from the Council ship and stood before Arya. "They're trying to make us feel small," she said. Arya replied, "Then it's time they remember how big our silence can be." In the control room, Earth's oldest AI, codenamed Echo, was awakened. Its voice filled the bunker, soft and wise. "Protocol 9 has been activated." Mason turned. "Are you sure you can handle this?" he asked the AI. Echo replied, "I have waited 60 years for this command." Across the dark side of the moon, Earth's own grid began to rise, invisible to alien scans, untouched by Council tech, born in silence, built in shadow, and designed for only one purpose: to remind the galaxy that Earth never forgets a threat and never bows twice. A message ignored. A warning was sent across the stars, clear, simple, final. But the galaxy didn't listen. Earth's message had only one line: peace must be equal, or there will be silence. The Galactic Council read it, then laughed behind closed doors. To them, Earth was still the named Aussie child at the galactic table. A fast learner, yes, but still young, still small, still human. Council Chairman Lurex shook his golden head and said, "They will crawl back. They always do." But not this time. On Earth, President Arya Kane stood before the Defense Grid Control Center. She gave a single nod, and Earth vanished, not physically, but digitally. All outgoing signals went dark, no messages, no diplomacy, no broadcasts. The galactic network showed static where Earth's channel used to be. Planets began to whisper, "Why did Earth go silent? Are they preparing for war? Or do they already know something we don't?" The Council dismissed these rumors. They called it a bluff, but behind their bold words, fear began to grow like a shadow on the wall. In secret, the Council sent a probe toward Earth. It was a small machine, invisible to most sensors, but Earth had already expected it. As the probe entered the upper atmosphere, something strange happened. It didn't crash, it didn't burn, it froze in place, mid-air. Like gravity had vanished, then slowly it disassembled itself piece by piece until it was dust. The dust was absorbed by the sky, no explosion, no trace, only silence. On the Council's warship, the commander stared at the empty screen. "Replay that," he said. The technician shook her head. "There's nothing to replay, sir. The signal. It just ends." On Earth, Ava Tran stood alone on a mountaintop, watching the stars. She knew the Council would ignore the message. They always did. They thought peace was something they could command, but Earth had seen too many empires fall, too many leaders beg for mercy with blood on their hands. This was not fear, this was patience. Back in the Arctic Tower, General Mason reviewed files that weren't supposed to exist anymore. "Operation Hush," he said aloud. It was Earth's silent defense system, older than Echo, older than the fleet, a network of hidden satellites, cloaked stations, and ghost protocols built during the first alien contact decades ago, designed for only one thing: when Earth is ignored, vanish, and prepare. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Council planned a peace parade, a grand celebration of unity without Earth. They thought leaving Earth out would make the planet desperate. Instead, Earth didn't react at all. No protests, no messages, just quiet. That quiet made the galaxy uneasy. "Why haven't they responded?" one alien leader asked. A scientist on Threk 7 answered softly, "Because they're listening." At the edge of the Council's territory, something else was happening. A tiny mining colony received a visitor, a single human ship, old, scarred, but fast. It didn't come to fight, it came to warn. The human pilot stepped out and said just 3 words, "They're watching you." Then he disappeared. By the time the colony reported the event, it was too late. All their systems had already been scanned, all their files copied, all their power drained, but no damage was done, just silence left behind, as if Earth wanted them to feel how helpless they were. Back in the Council chamber, arguments began. Some said Earth was bluffing, others said they should negotiate again. But one alien admiral, older than all of them, stood slowly and said, "You asked for peace on your terms. You ignored their warning. You laughed. Now pray they don't answer with silence." But it was too late. Across space, small Council outposts started failing, not destroyed, just turned off. Their lights dimmed, their communications failed, and each time, a single human symbol was left behind. An ancient Earth warning sign that said, "You ignored the message." Refusal echoes through the stars. The stars blinked strangely that night, as if space itself was nervous. In the quiet heart of the galaxy, near the twin suns of Alira, diplomats gathered. 1,000 alien voices filled the sea whilst Hamber, all speaking about one thing: Earth's silence. The Galactic Council had pushed Earth to accept their version of peace, but Earth hadn't responded in weeks. No words, no broadcasts, not even a sigh. Only the sound of systems shutting down across deep space outposts. One by one, a signal was detected just before each shutdown, only 3 words long. Earth says no. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Empires had fallen, civilizations had risen and vanished, but never had a species rejected the council so completely. The elders whispered in secret rooms. They are not playing the game. They have created a new game. On the outer rim, a council dreadnought moved near Jupiter's orbit. Its job was to observe Earth and offer support. But Earth had already seen it. Before the dreadnought could transmit its arrival, it was surrounded, not by warships, not by missiles, but by silence. All its sensors stopped working. Its scanners showed nothing but white noise. Inside the ship, lights dimmed and screens blinked uselessly. A crew member whispered, "We're not in space anymore." Outside, however, the ship floated normally. Nothing had touched it, but it had been removed from the galaxy's awareness. No one could contact it, no one could trace it. It was as if Earth had erased it from the story, and that story spread quickly. Planets that once mocked Earth now locked their doors. Leaders who dismissed humanity now stayed awake at night, wondering what would happen next. In Earth's hidden control tower beneath Antarctica, President Arya Kane stood before the global broadcast core. She pressed a single button. The blue light pulsed once, then Earth spoke again. Not with anger, not with threats, just truth. "To the stars that wish to control us," she said, "we are not broken children. We do not need your peace if it causes Ms. with chains. We do not need your help if it demands our silence. You offered us a place at your table, but only if we stayed quiet. So now we offer you nothing." The message was sent out only once, then Earth went silent again. But the silence wasn't empty, it was filled with weight. It echoed across space like a drumbeat from a planet that had made up its mind. The Council tried to block the message. They failed. Even their strongest systems couldn't erase the signal. It was already inside every relay station, inside every trade hub, even inside children's toys that picked up random space signals. The words became a chant in alien markets. Earth says no. In a hidden moon base, a Council intelligence agent was captured. Human forces didn't interrogate him with pain. They simply showed him one image. A map of the galaxy with red dots appearing every hour. Each red dot was a Council station quietly taken offline. No blood, no war, just gone. The agent asked, "What do you want?" The human commander replied, "Nothing." "That's what scares you, doesn't it? You expected us to fight, to scream, to beg. But we are done with begging. We are done with bargains." Some in the Council demanded Earth be attacked. Others warned that doing so would wake something they couldn't put back to sleep. But Chairman Lurex stood and said, "Let us teach them a final lesson." He ordered an elite unit to land near Mars and build a presence, a show of force. But when they arrived, they found ruins. Ruins that weren't built by Earth, ruins that were millions of years old, and on one cracked wall was a human symbol burned into stone, a symbol from Earth's ancient past, the same symbol used in Earth's recent signal. The aliens didn't know what it meant, but Earth did. It meant this had happened before, and Earth was not afraid. The silence before the storm. Something was wrong with the stars. They weren't where they should be. Entire constellations had shifted. Just slightly, enough to make astronomers uneasy. But it wasn't the stars that had moved. It was Earth's satellites. Every one of them had changed position quietly, strategically, without a single command being sent over the open network. The Council didn't understand how. Their best spies reported nothing. Their sensors picked up no signals. Yet somehow, Earth had repositioned every eye in the sky, and no one could explain how. Back on Earth, in the deepest level of the Black Mountain facility, General Mason walked into a room sealed for 30 years. The air was cold, the lights were low, and in the center of the room stood a single chair with a sleeping AI system attached to it. He pressed his palm to the scanner. The voice returned after decades of silence. "System whisper online," it said, awaiting the storm. Mason took a slow breath and said, "It's time." Far above, the Council's fleet hung in orbit like a chain of glittering thorns. Dozens of ships, all armed, all watching. They hadn't fired a single shot. They didn't need to. Their presence alone was a message, but Earth didn't blink. Instead, Earth disappeared further. Its ships no longer registered on sensors. Its stations no longer pinged. Its trading routes empty. To the galaxy, it was as if Earth had gone into hiding. But that wasn't the truth. Earth wasn't hiding. Earth was waiting. On one council vessel, a nervous communications officer whispered, "Why haven't they done anything?" The commander replied, "Because they don't need to." In the shadows of Saturn's rings, a human scout ship sat in silence. It had been there for 3 weeks, watching, recording, not speaking. Then it sent a single pulse across the stars. That pulse triggered a cascade across Earth's hidden network. Deep-sea cables lit up. Subterranean bunkers began humming. Old AI systems with names like Spectre, Vigil, and Nocturne Cam. Online. Each one waking with the same phrase. Storm protocol active. Still no weapons fired. Still no ships moved outward. Earth waited, but the galaxy felt the tension like a wire stretched too tight. In alien cities, people whispered about Earth's silence like it was a ghost story. Children drew Earth with dark colors and glowing eyes. Merchants stopped shipping near human zones. Some leaders even moved their palaces off-world, just in case. One alien scientist from the Rithari system publicly warned, "When silence comes before thunder, it means the storm is already near." Back at Earth's command, President Arya Kane sat alone in the war room, not issuing commands, just watching. Ava Tran entered and placed a small tablet on the table. The data showed something strange, an increase in Council emergency traffic, hidden messages flying between Council warships, labeled Level Red Unknown Threat. They were panicking, but still pretending to be in control. Ava looked at Arya and said, "They're afraid of nothing." Arya replied, "Exactly. They came expecting a war they could see," she continued, "but they weren't ready for a war they couldn't touch." Meanwhile, on a quiet moon base near Europa, 2 Council soldiers on patrol vanished. No alarms, no sounds, just gone. Their last message was confusing. One of them had whispered, "The storm is breathing." The Council sent reinforcements to the moon base. They found no damage, no footprints. But every screen had one thing on it, a rotating Earth symbol, surrounded by the words, "We gave you peace. You tried to rewrite it. Now we rewrite everything. The fire that answers." The explosion didn't make a sound. It happened in the vacuum near the Council's forward base. One moment, their warship floated proudly in orbit. The next, it was gone. No fire, no debris, just erased like Saos. Only one had pressed delete on reality. The Council panicked. They had sensors tracking every ship in the region, but none had seen the attacker because there wasn't one. Not in the way they understood. The ship didn't explode from the outside. It unraveled from the inside. Something had rewritten the metal itself. In Earth's hidden command center, the old AI named Whisper simply said, "Strike confirmed." President Arya Kane did not smile. She did not cheer. She only said, "Send the message." And that message was not in words. It was a signal made from old human music, Beethoven layered with encrypted Earth codes. When the Council received it, they were confused, then terrified, because it wasn't just a signal. It was proof that Earth had already mapped their entire defense grid, and Earth was listening to every secret channel. On a Council world called Celerin, the skies turned red, not from attack, but from a strange pulse sent from deep space. The people felt a vibration in their bones. Their machines slowed down, their buildings lost power, and then a single message appeared in the sky. "You should have listened." In response, the Council scrambled their elite force, Task Unit Zeta-1, 99 ships, advanced weapons, cloaked drones. They sent them toward Earth with full confidence. But before they reached the solar system, they vanished, not destroyed, not captured, just gone. Only one small piece of data was recovered from the final transmission, a human voice whispering, "This is what happens when you mistake patience for weakness." Across the galaxy, fear became wildfire. Planets that had once stood with the Council now went silent. Some offered peace to Earth directly. Others shut down their ports and waited, hoping to be ignored. A child on the planet. Valaris woke from a dream screaming, "The quiet is coming." No one knew how he knew, but they believed him. In the shadows of Neptune, a human ship floated near a council observation post. The alien crew stared out the window in silence. The human ship didn't move, didn't fire, didn't speak, but every alarm inside the alien base started ringing. Then, all at once, the alarms stopped, the lights turned off, the air turned cold, and the only thing left was a human message carved into the wall. We don't shout. We don't threaten. We remember. Back at the council capital, leaders argued louder than ever. Some demanded negotiation, others demanded a full assault, but no one could find Earth's forces, because Earth had no front lines. Earth had become everywhere and nowhere at once. Whisper was awake, Echo was running global interference, and Project Nocturne, Earth's deep space shadow fleet, was now fully active. They didn't fire first. They didn't need to. They only appeared where fear already lived. The council finally sent a direct message. Earth, please respond. We are ready to talk. But Earth didn't answer with words, just light, from dozens of council bases, from the skies above their oldest cities, from stations hidden in the black of space, human ships uncloaked, still silent, still watching, still waiting. And then the stars shifted again, this time with purpose. The price of peace. The galaxy had never been this quiet, not during wars, not during plagues, not even when stars died and worlds turned to ash. This silence was different. This silence had meaning, because Earth had spoken without speaking, and the stars were listening. In the great hall of the Galactic Council, once filled with pride and light, shadows now stretched across the floor like cracks in glass. Ambassadors no longer shouted, they whispered, they argued in fear, not power. One council member finally said the words none of them wanted to hear. We were wrong. They had pushed Earth too far. They had treated humanity like a tool, a planet to be trained, a species to be owned. But Earth had chosen silence, and that silence had cost them more than any war ever had. Across the galaxy, once mighty stations now floated empty. Council fleets returned home to find their systems scrambled, their codes rewritten, their leaders missing. Not dead, not harmed, just gone. Taken by shadows they couldn't trace. Earth hadn't destroyed, it had disappeared threats. And now, with its ships hovering like quiet judges over council worlds, the final message came. This time, Earth spoke in words, not threats, not anger, but truth. Ava Tran stood in the heart of Earth's transmission hub. She wore no armor, no medals, just the symbol of Earth, a blue circle drawn by a child. Once long ago, she looked into the galaxy and said, "We asked for peace. You offered chains. We waited. You forced. We warned. You ignored. Now you call us monsters. But the truth is simple. You made us this way. We do not seek war. We do not seek control. But we will not be ruled. We will not forget. And we will never bow again." The signal ended, and Earth disappeared again. This time completely. Every ship, every satellite, every signal, gone. The council tried to follow. They failed. They tried to track human systems. They failed. They tried to reach out again with new offers, better offers, equal offers, but the messages were met with silence because Earth had already paid the price of peace and found it too high, so it built its own peace, on its own terms, without anyone's permission. In the years that followed, Earth became legend. Stories spread across the stars of ships that moved faster than light, of voices that spoke from inside machines, of a fleet made not of metal but of memory and shadows. Some claimed to see Earth's ships before major disasters. Others believed Earth had become so. Something more than human, something ancient, something watching. One child on a distant world looked up at the stars and asked her mother, "Will Earth come back?" Her mother knelt down, held her close, and whispered, "Only if we forget what silence means." And the stars blinked once, as if they remembered,